Connecticut is finally open.
Like Trish's booty hole.
I'm exhausted.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We are streaming live on Digital Stream Radio, where you can access that live stream every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can do so by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. My name is Tom. I am your host. And on today's show, of course, I have all of my peoples with me, starting with the first one over here.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And behind me,
J-Bear.
And
good to be with you guys. It's Chris.
And welcome you all to
The Dish.
So it is a fun-filled episode. Nothing but the dish today. We've got stories of ourselves, all the craziness that happened throughout this first weekend that Connecticut was open, including Trish, after the COVID restrictions were lifted on the last Wednesday,
19th, yep.
On the 19th. And so here we are. So we've got pretty interesting, things that happened at the bar, as usual, that we'll talk about, but we also have stories and things that we're going to talk about as well. So welcome back, boys. How's everyone?
Meh. It's Monday.
So we'll start with you. How was your Monday?
It's the Mondayest Monday I've had so far.
Yeah.
It's a Mondays. Yeah. And how about you, Trish? How are you?
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I think for all of us who at some point in time either work full-time or worked part-time in the service industry, this weekend was a rough weekend.
Oh, yeah.
For all of us. Mm-hmm. Chris, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Oh, of course.
Happy to be here. 2 weeks in a row.
This is crazy.
I know.
Like she's on a streak.
I know.
I feel like I have to give her some music.
Yeah, Ooh, the chair's very bouncy.
There's no dildo on that, so don't get happy or excited.
Yeah, it's not
Hey,
my
Trish
chair.
is open. I'm not.
Well, true. Well,
There's still
my
some
God.
restrictions.
Last night, somebody told me, looked me straight in the face, and they were like, "I'm gonna fuck you tonight," and I was like,
You're like, awesome.
I was like,
It's
I gotta
been
walk.
84
I gotta walk.
years.
It's been 84 years, but I'm also gonna walk away from this very quickly. Like, no, thank you. Like, that is not a pickup line. I'm sorry.
Fuck you tonight.
That's not like. Yes, it is post-COVID, but that's not a pickup line.
I mean, for some
You
people,
would
maybe.
leave that. I think you would leave that to someone you've already been intimate with, and you're flirting and kind
Yeah,
of
like if my ex
but not
walked
off
up to
the
me
bat,
and was
yeah.
like, "I'm gonna fuck you tonight," and I'm like, "All right,
possibly.
that sounds good, whatever." But
feel
like, not some random person.
I feel like that's how Trish would lean in now that we're open. Like, not, hey, how are you? What can I get for you? Just, you're going to fuck me tonight. That's exactly it. And what are you drinking, by the
You know
way?
what else somebody said to me? They were like, oh, it was so hurtful. They were like, "You look really good." I was like, don't fucking lie. I mean, this is all COVID weight. I showed up in my medium and I had to put on a large. Like, that is the reality of the situation. And he's like, I mean, like, your skin looks great. I was like, that is not a compliment.
You really got a face for a radio. One of those kind of things.
Right. I cannot with you guys. No, it was a crazy. So, as Chris mentioned, on the 19th, all the restrictions that were related to COVID were lifted in the state of Connecticut, which is obviously in the state that we reside. So when the bars finally opened, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were insane. You couldn't fit a body into Friday or Saturday in that bar. Which is good. I mean, obviously people were itching and ready to get out and like be with the community and stuff. But, I fear that 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a spike in COVID cases because we're relying on the honor system for people who have not been vaccinated to be truthful and wear their mask in enclosed spaces. But that's not what they did because not one person in that bar had a mask on.
I mean, a couple people did, but it was like on their chin.
Yeah, so it's like not even wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So we were wondering like way back when in March, it's like, why are you closing the bars? That's precisely why. Because when people start drinking, they lose all sense of responsibility.
But I think it was even more extra because the bar has been closed for 14 months. Like,
Right.
people were like it was like they were vicious for booze and like gay connection, and like it was just like people were all over each other.
Right. And it was weird. And so, I had, told a couple of people that I wasn't bartending anymore. I decided that I wasn't going to go back to bartending. And when I walked into the bar yesterday to do the karaoke, people were just like, oh, why are you behind the bar? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, I just don't want to do that anymore. For me, COVID and going through all of that and being home for a whole year and having small intimate gatherings really changed my perspective on what I want my life to be post-COVID. And bartending is not one of them. So so I'm no longer a bartender at Partners, but I'm still doing karaoke. And last night was intense. It was crazy. A lot of people, everybody was itching, and this whole weekend, people were just itching to get out.
Not even just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, I wasn't there, but Thursday I was there.
Right.
And Thursday was packed.
Oh.
Thursday was a lot of fun. I also got a phone number on Thursday.
Wait a minute. So you make it all the way down from Windsor Logs to come out to Partners on a Thursday, but you can't make it here on a Monday.
I said the same thing when I saw her out.
On time.
School's over, by the way, okay? I do what I need to do.
I'm just saying.
I went to visit a friend, and we just happened to show up at Partners.
Did you suck it?
That's not the friend that I was there to visit. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Who were you visiting?
I don't need to say it on air.
Why?
Why?
I was visiting Joe.
Oh.
You are a liar.
No, I'm not. That's exactly why I came down.
I was
woke up-
visiting Joe.
No, that's exactly what it was. And then when I didn't even know Partners was opening that day, and he had the flowers, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna head over to Partners and like have give him flowers and say welcome back and everything." I was like, "Oh, let's do that."
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
It was really nice. And then like I popped over back to York, and then I was like, everyone left. I'm like, maybe I'll just get drunk and stay down here tonight. But then I just kind of stopped drinking and decided to drive home. But
Okay. Well, my drill is if you're out here and you're out this way and you're drunk like a skunk, just come here and lay your ass on that bed.
absolutely, I'll bring my floor sandwich, and I got no problem. Yeah, I'll come right over.
Correction.
That is
the
a thing.
vomited floor sandwich.
No. The vomit was outside the church. The sandwich was fine.
And the vomit came out of your mouth, and you took a bite of that sandwich, and then says to me, "You want a bite?"
Yeah,
I was like, after you had your vomit breath all over that sandwich, you're offering me a bite, and then he waits till I get home.
All right,
And
so
then
let's back this up. We went to a concert.
I feel like we've talked about this
Thank
story
you, Trish.
so many
Thank you.
times.
We've talked
'Cause
about
I-
this story so many times.
Because I wasn't aware of this.
We
Right.
went to a concert
we went
to see Melissa Etheridge,
right?
at Tanglewood.
And Pat Benatar, don't forget that.
And we all were drinking, but Tom had to drive, so he was being responsible. But Chris, he went for it. And then he was like, all right, I don't want to go. And Tom's like, fucking grab the other side of this goddamn cooler. We're leaving right now. They get like 5 minutes down the road. Tom's like, this motherfucker's throwing up at the church.
He literally pulled over into the parking lot of a church. He opened my door. He didn't even get out. He was just,
Yeah. Hey, at least I made it outside the car.
no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Because your ass hung over as a skunk, would have been up early in the morning cleaning that shit the next day.
With a 2-hour drive and that smell.
Right. And so we had bought a sandwich earlier on in the day. Well, first of all, we had bought so many things. So I bought a whole tray full of like breaded chicken.
You don't need to. You're going to do it.
Yeah, well, and now you have to.
Now you have to. He already went into
No,
it.
it wasn't breaded chicken. It was a rotisserie chicken.
No, it was
No.
it was like a thing of fried chicken. It wasn't a
Yeah.
rotisserie chicken.
It was like
I mean,
chicken
she could have
pieces.
done a rotisserie chicken on her own, but
I could have, yes.
I thought it was a rotisserie.
no, this was like 1 3/4 of a chicken.
Right.
Okay.
It was more than one bird that this one consumed in a single sitting.
So I had not eaten all day, and we drive up to Tanglewood. Well, we drove up to your friend's house.
Mind you, this is the first time you're meeting them, and I'm like, I'm gonna go take a shower.
You're like, I'm gonna
I
go
walked
eat
in.
a couple birds.
I walked in. Their 2 dogs are looking at my food. I'm like, bitch, don't look. Don't look because you will die. And these are like massive lion-like dogs. Like they're huge. And so I went and I looked at them and I was like, it's very nice to meet you, but I haven't eaten all day and I really need to eat something. So I went in their patio and I opened that thing of chicken and I devoured the entire thing.
The
in one
entire
sitting.
thing.
So I come downstairs and Colin's like, your friends are something else.
They had met me prior to that.
And they still said, your friends are something else.
That bitch devoured a whole chicken in my patio.
Oh, no, more than, like I said, that was like more than one bird. Then I think it was Luna. Luna's the white one, right?
Yeah.
We had something. We bought some
I
bread.
bought a thing of ciabatta bread.
Yeah.
So Colin or Jonah, one of them comes out and like, who bought the ciabatta bread? I was like, oh, I did. They're like, Luna ate it. I was like, oh, she got some of it? No, she ate it.
The whole
the whole goddamn loaf, part of the packaging and everything, you know, paper and
She
plastic.
saved you because at that point in time you didn't know that you had a gluten allergy.
Exactly.
And so she was being kind to you. She kind of like you probably walked in the house.
Imagine if you drink that much and ate the bread.
Right.
Yeah.
And she probably smelled you and said, "This motherfucker's he's
Right.
allergic to this
Absolutely.
shit. I'm gonna eat it."
Absolutely.
She did you a favor.
She did. She made sure that I was able to hold it until the church. If it was for the ciabatta, I probably wouldn't have made it.
Well,
So-
now that I'm fully vaccinated, I have got to make a trip up there, but I don't want to do it right now because they've been like working out like crazy. They look amazing, and I'm like,
Well, I mean, you can. I'm going in a couple weeks. You maybe can. I can talk to them and see if it's all right if you come over.
no, I mean like they want me to come.
So the story's not over though.
Oh.
Because Dad,
Oh God! I was like, maybe if we talk more, we'll just get past it.
like always, I'm still doing construction in the house, right? And I had all of these things
yeah.
sitting in the back of the truck. So it was full of like hammers and like pieces of wood and metal and God knows what not. And this one's sitting in the front seat. He's like, I'm tired. I wanna
Okay, that is
sleep."
not how I sound.
And then, and so he says to me, he goes, I'm going to sleep in the back. I'm like, Chris, there's so many things back there. It's like, you're not, he's like, and he takes his seatbelt off, jumps over my seat, and all you hear is, ow, 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 and then knocked out. So we get to the house. At this point, I'm trying to get him out of the back of my truck.
Oh, that video.
I had to pull him out. So first and foremost, I knew that was going to happen. And so I set up the camera in a way that I got the whole thing on camera. And I'm literally pulling him out. He's like, ow, 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 ow. That's all he kept saying. And so I finally pulled him out and whatnot. And that's when he goes in the front seat, pulls the half vomited sandwich that he had on the floor.
I
that
did
he
not puke
ate.
on the sandwich.
And he goes like, you want a bite? I was like, are you fucking nuts?
Oh my God! Well, hearing this, it makes me happy that I'm getting a tetanus shot at 2:45 tomorrow afternoon. So
Proud of you. And
I
you're
guess if I didn't have it by now,
you're only getting it because you're traveling.
no, I gotta eat for school.
Also, you might have tetanus. We don't know.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that.
So anyway.
Had it before, survived.
All our stories are amazing.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I'm gonna come back here anymore. It's always about, it always comes back to that story.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
fun.
like, there's plenty of shit that I get thrown under the bus for.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
She is nasty.
Yeah, I figured 2 weeks in a row, we might as well start picking on you today.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
All right. Fair game. So
Jay's like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
We are good back here. I'll stay quiet.
all right. Well, listen. So we have some stories that we want to cover. Unless anybody else has anything to say about the weekend, the craziness.
I can't think of anything.
Okay, so we will jump into some stories. So, back in January, on January 6th, when the MAGA insurrection happened, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a MAGA insurrection. Apparently, they had the DC, the District of Columbia, had already had a particular bill that they were sending over to Congress to ban the gay panic defense. And because they had the gates raised as a result of, in the aftermath of the insurrection, they couldn't hand deliver the actual bill to Congress. And the law states that you have to hand deliver the bill. Otherwise, you can't introduce the bill into Congress. And the reason why the bill never made it into Congress was because of the fences. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Like, what kind of archaic shit is that?
I'm just a bill up
I'm
on
just-
Capitol Hill.
You know, it's funny because I just saw a post about that earlier where a buddy of mine put, remember how they used to have the bill sitting on the steps with the little kid, the cartoon?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock. And he's like, Schoolhouse Rock was never lying to us. We just didn't pay attention.
Seriously. And all I can think to myself, it's like, you mean to tell me that the majority of Congress during COVID was allowed to do like virtual, like, meetings and have all these different committees virtually, and you couldn't email a bill.
No, you can't email something like that because it's not secure.
But it's a bill. I mean, everyone gets to read it anyway when it passes because it becomes public record.
When it passes.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I don't know. For me, it's just stupid that we had to sit here and wait longer for something like the gay panic defense to be banned in Washington, D.C. simply because they couldn't deliver a fucking bill because of a fence that needed to be put up because of the fucking MAGA riot.
And how come they couldn't get like clearance to go through the fence?
I just don't know. To me, it's just weird. Oh, my mailman's here. Oh, she nasty. You don't look cute. My other one is cuter. No, it was just weird. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense that in 2021, this is how we still do business in the people's house, that you can't really like do your business because of a stupid fence. That makes no sense.
But it's also saying here that, the fence is no longer there.
Right.
I'm sorry. This is America. Like, you put up a fence and you can't find a way around it to deliver a bill.
They forgot to install a gate to go walk through it.
Right?
Oh, you're right. This is America.
Yeah.
Like, shit, we're fenced
Keep
in.
everybody out.
It's just weird. And we obviously have had many conversations about the importance of banning the gay panic defense, and because when you think about, for example, what happened to Matthew Shepard, and because of his death, this is the reason why some legislation was introduced to categorize deaths like that, a hate crime. And as a result of that, the two individuals, the two horrible individuals that actually murdered Shepard, tried using the gay panic defense as a reason to justify his murder, being left hung in a field on a gate in freaking, was it Prairie? Wyoming? It was ridiculous.
Well, this article is really showing, of course, absolutely. But this article is showcasing the gay panic defense was gained national attention from a case in 1995 where a gay man, Scott Amador, told his straight friend Jonathan Schmitz that he was attracted to him on the Jenny Jones show. 3 days later, Schmitz shot Amador, saying he was embarrassed on national television. And that moved him from this defense, lowered his charge from first-degree murder to being convicted of second-degree murder.
I'm sorry, but like,
I remember
the
that.
gay panic defense, the concept of it, how could this even be applied in the situation? You were embarrassed on national TV, so you shot someone dead.
You agreed to go on the show.
3 days later.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't make any sense, and it just needs to be banned outright. And I don't know how many states now have it actively.
13
states.
13, and Oregon is set to be the next.
So in order for it to be considered something that is at this point beyond the point of no return, at least 34 states, just like marriage equality, before the Supreme Court would ever take up a case and decide to just make it the law of the land.
Right. Well, and the American Bar Association has adopted a resolution calling for the end of the defense back in 2013. So the bar is already calling for it, and now it's waiting for the states to keep trickulating toward where all 50 states ban it.
Right.
Like I said, we're approaching 14, and then with DC, that would hopefully bring us to 15.
Right.
It's not a state,
and unfortunately, they're pretty liberal territories, where the majority of the people tend to sort of kind of vote Democratic. And so you see where different parties lie on this particular issue, right? The majority of Republican senators or even congressmen and women don't really want to deal with this because they feel like this is a legitimate defense.
Right.
And it's really not. And it hurts people like all of us sitting at this table. Most of us. I mean, we've got the bi guy here sitting.
I mean, same thing though.
Yeah, it could happen
Yeah.
to you.
Difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they went down and they didn't like what they were tasting, then they come back and kill you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Never know.
I mean,
never know.
it's crazy. It says right here, I mean, the gay and trans panic defense are often used by defendants who are accused of violent crimes.
Right.
They claim that the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity made them panic. Okay. For example, a straight man could claim that he went into temporary insanity when he found out a woman he had sex with was trans and then attacked her. Honey, you knew what you were getting into in most cases.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Right. I mean, unless, and I'm not here to speculate what would happen if someone was either, gone through the transition or not. I mean, honestly, if you engaged with someone who wasn't fully transitioned and you couldn't realize that they were born a male at a point in time, you're stupid.
Well, that's beside the point, but yeah.
I just think it's bullshit. I mean, if you're granted, I meet a girl, I take her home, or we go to wherever, back of the car. If you're making out with somebody, you're feeling them up. Come on, don't tell me you didn't go and try and touch them in between the legs before you went any further. You know what I'm saying? It's normal. To me, it's just you're feeling each other up. You're making out. You're in the moment. It's not like, hey, surprise,
But that's
this
the
kind of
argument that they're
occurred.
making, though.
Yeah,
that
but
you're in the moment, and then
But there's also the like element that transgender individuals actually transition. So if you're feeling them up and you don't feel anything,
right? But,
you know what I mean, or you feel what you're looking for. It's complicated, but this fucking thing it's fucked up.
This is not complicated at all.
No.
It's
No.
very easy
No, it's
decision.
just-
It needs to be banned.
Definitely, yes.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean,
And-
like you brought it up. I mean, go back to Matthew Shepard.
Right.
The reality of the situation was two men pretended to hit on Matthew Shepard
right.
in a bar, knowing that they were going. I don't know if they necessarily were planning to kill him.
Well,
But they literally
Make an
it was
example out of him.
No, it was.
They made
originally
him-
it was to rob him.
Well, they made him.
That's all they claim.
Right.
They hit on him knowing that they could get him to where they could take advantage of him, whether it was murder or robbing.
Right.
They took advantage of the fact that he was a boy in Wyoming who was looking for something and couldn't find it. They took advantage of him and then tried to use this defense to get off lighter.
After they left him to die, tied up to that fence. It's just, it breaks my heart to think about the idea, to even conceptualize what Matthew Shepard was thinking in those hours that he was tied up, bleeding and dying. Because obviously they left him there. He was alive when they left him there.
Oh, I know.
And, it breaks my heart. I go into a state of like, I can't believe that this is what humanity does. This is what humans do, and this is just ridiculous, and it just needs to stop. It really does.
I mean, I still say to this day, I will always remember and cherish the moment that I was able to go to the site where he was tied up and leave flowers and have a moment. You know what I mean? That was a very special moment for me.
Right. And when you think about the Laramie Project and all of these other like foundations, the Matthew Shepard Foundation, that are bringing light to these types of crimes, and then you have people supporting these types of initiatives, it's really disturbing. It just really goes to show you that there's two sides to every coin, and the one side of the coin that the Republican Party and those that follow that party are showing is very, very, very dangerous and far out, like completely disgusting, and it's just crazy. But it is what it is. So, if you guys who are listening have an opportunity to go to the Matthew Shepard Foundation and you want to contribute or participate or help in any way that you can, we encourage you that you do so, because it helps in situations like this where bills that are being introduced could potentially pass, and then we can ban the practice outright and bring justice for those who have been lost to these types of egregious murders. So my voice feels very deep today.
You sang last night.
I did.
I bartended this weekend, so I yelled a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it too.
Got those voices going.
Yeah.
That's right.
And on a lighter note,
On a lighter note,
we would like to say a big up to Lego.
Lego.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
They've announced their first rainbow set ahead of the LGBTQ Pride Month.
100% need it.
And
Yay.
I always loved Legos.
And
So-
I'm buying that for Paul's nephews.
So I played with Legos all of my childhood. I used to come up with these like elaborate castles and things like that. You know, places I wanted to live in when I grew up. And
Wait, tell me. I want to hear more about it.
Yeah, tell us more.
What else is going on?
So it says on the article here, they're kicking off the month, Pride Month, which is celebrated every June. A little early this year, the toy company announced it's releasing its special set called Everyone is Awesome that celebrates the diversity in its fans. This is the first time Lego's 72-year history that it is releasing an official LGBTQ Pride set. They stated, "I want to create a model that symbolizes industry and celebrates everyone, no matter how they identify or who they love." Matthew Ashton, Lego's vice president of design, said in a press release.
And it's beautiful. So I seen the picture of it, and it's fun because it's all inclusive. So you've got the little Lego characters, right, in all different haircuts and all different colors that represent a very wide spectrum of people and humans. Overall, it's just really cute.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
It is.
the entire rainbow color. It's awesome.
So we'll
That's
make
great.
sure to post that picture or link to the story, so that way you guys can check it out. If you want to go and buy yourself a set, you can do that. But it's really nice.
I love it.
Very well done.
Not to read too much into it, but like Legos building a strong foundation, finding a foundation of equality.
Right.
Oh, starting with the
It's beautiful.
kids.
And they have the entire rainbow. They're including the white stripe. They're including the pink stripe for the trans community,
Bye.
and the black and brown stripe for, you know, obviously black and brown people.
I mean, there's a green in there. I'm like, oh, okay.
well, the green is part of the flag.
It's right behind you. Twice. 3 times. 3 times, actually. Yeah, it is
Girl.
behind you 3 times. And right
Don't
in front of
forget
you on
What the
Dookie.
fuck's wrong with me? Why
She's
did I-
colorblind. We'll let
I'm
that
like
one
looking
go.
at this. I'm like, that green is like real green.
And she don't even have her chroma glasses on.
I don't.
I forgot about those. Your
Text me
colorblind
that link
glasses.
so that I can make sure I add it to the story.
Well,
So
that was
that's
good.
awesome.
That lightened it up
Yeah.
after the
I
conversation.
love Legos. Love Legos.
Yeah. So Mega Block, nothing against you, but everyone buy Lego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
build a foundation of rainbow.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. There's a lot of toy companies that have come out with really interesting things. Like y'all remember Mr. Potato Head.
Right.
Well, or just Potato Head.
No, yeah.
Yeah, the whole
'Cause I
point.
remember
Yeah.
That was the whole point. But yeah. So that's fun. Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
That was
that's
me.
okay. That's okay.
That's the article.
Dead air.
Dead air. Yeah. So,
Well, that was fun.
well, I have to.
By the way, no.
That's why. That's why I said text it to me, because it won't show up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was fun. And Legos, thank you. Do we have anything else we want to discuss before we go to break, or what do we want to do?
I guess I leave it up to the group because I want to save the last story for the end of the show because it's fun. But
Right.
my other story is a downer, and we
So-
just had an upper.
So let's take a break.
Okay.
And we'll come back and we'll make everyone sad again. And then we'll pick it back up.
Oh Lord, I can't with them. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave you with some music.
Democracy.
Democracy. And when we come back, we have, of course, more dish. Here we go. We'll be right back.
She was waiting by the back door, said, babe, we gotta leave town. Get your shit, get your suitcase, your dog, your guitar, cause we gotta go now, cause they're coming. Well, they know our fucking names, yes, they're coming, just the same. Well, I know you don't want to leave your life. You've had some blood and tears, little joy, little strife. But they're coming, well, they're coming down the road, yes, they're coming, truth be told. And don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land in the first place, but they're coming just the same. a knapsack full of judgment, hypocrisy, and lies. And they're talking so much hateful bullshit, they've begun to gather flies. But they're coming. Well, don't look 'em in the eyes. Yes, they're coming. No surprise. And with so much terror in our past, how are you so surprised it's come to bite you in the ass? Yes, it's coming. Well, it's nipping at your heels. Yes, it's coming for the kill. And don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land to sell or trade. No, don't forget the whiskey, and don't forget your history. It was never their land in the first place. But they're coming just the same. So I'll meet you at the station where we can get on that train. Head out to the wastelands where we can change our names. 'Cause they're coming. Well, they know our fucking names. Yes, they're coming. Just the same. Just the same. Just the same. Just the same.
Well, welcome back from the break. That was, of course, the incredible Amanda Barrick with her debut album, Wastelands, which is available on all the major music streaming services. So make sure that you go out and support your LGBTQ artists. Of course, you know, Pride Month is coming up, so it makes a great addition to your collection, along with all the other things that, you know, people like to buy during Pride Month. And we're excited. You know what I don't know? And I was just curious as we're all coming back from break.
Wait, did I not make it in time?
So close.
You got it.
So close.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
okay. You know.
She was busy slamming your door upstairs.
Yeah, no, we can hold the fort down. Do we know if there's going to be a physical parade in New York on the last Sunday of June for Pride?
Not a clue.
Because I haven't really heard anything about it, and we're literally like
We
a week
literally
away.
talked about the fact that they're not having the police there, so I
Right.
think they're doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
We talked about that last week.
Well, I know, but we didn't know if they were doing a physical pride or not. Like, I knew that they were saying that they want to. They've banned the presence of police, but they
In
really didn't
uniform.
address whether or not they were having a physical pride. I hope they do.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens when we assume, right?
A Trish is born.
Oh, those are fighting words, girl. Anyway, so we're back, and while somebody's researching whether or not it's going to be a physical pride or not. Can anybody?
Seems
doing
like
it
it.
right
I'm
now.
looking it up now,
Okay,
but
good. While you do that, why don't we jump into the story for Billy Porter? So, obviously, we know that Billy Porter's an amazing actor. The man has, he's done theater, you name it, he's done it. And he's been on Pose the entire time the show has been on the air. Pose is coming to an end, of course, after this season. And like his character, Pray Tell, in the show, Billy did something very courageous last week or in the last 2 weeks. He decided to come out and be forthcoming with the fact that he has been HIV positive for the last 14 years. And I see that as a win for the community, and I see that as a win for visibility because, as we always say, visibility is our biggest strength. And one of the things that he said in one of the interviews that he had was that this is what HIV looks like today. And he's right. Gone are the days, if you take care of yourself, if you are HIV positive and you do what you're supposed to do and, take your medication, etc. If you take care of yourself, long gone are the days in where HIV is a death sentence, right? You have a lot of medication, a lot of advancements in medication that allow you to live a full life, meaningful and giving you the opportunity and the ability to just be just like everybody else. And I think it's beautiful that he did this, to find the strength to take something so personal and make it public.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to sort of kind of just throw that out there on the table. And what do you guys think about it? What do you think about it, Trish?
I'm proud of him.
Yeah, he's just amazing overall.
I mean, I remember a time in my life where I literally said that I wouldn't even consider dating somebody who had HIV because I was so afraid.
Right.
And times have changed so drastically that now, I mean, I've been on dates with people that are HIV positive and it didn't even bother me.
Right. I mean, it should be a non-issue. Because,
I mean, you have to take precautions, take care of
Right,
yourself and make
right.
sure they're taking care of themselves. But
and there's different dynamics that exist now. Like, for example, the medications that are available today could put you in a position in where you would be what they consider undetectable. And if you're undetectable, you can't spread HIV to your partners, etc. And so that really opens up an opportunity for people who, for a long time, if you were known to be HIV positive, you were shot from the dating community. Nobody wanted to date you. Yeah, you can be a friend, but I don't want anything to do with you emotionally or physically because I'm scared. Or, there was a stigma behind the HIV moniker, if you want to call it that. And I think that, we have made a lot of strides in recent years in regards to breaking down that stigma, which I think it's important.
Agreed.
I think he also I think he had mentioned in the article, I kind of read through it quickly, that he was afraid of coming out because of the cast and people that he works with during the show. I think it's, it was great. I think timing was perfect on his part. When he decided to share, I think it was when he was ready for it.
Right.
Working in the HIV field for as many years as I did, it's very difficult. It was difficult just to get people in for services.
Right.
Right. When you're providing the support and when you're providing the stigma behind it is still there. Probably not as bad as back in the 80s when it all came out, but there's still that stigma. There's still that self-awareness, that shame that people feel that, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, it happens.
well, I mean, also too, you think about, HIV and AIDS and my brain goes to the sickness and seeing all those people die and the sores and the emaciation of their bodies. And then you look at somebody like Billy Porter, who not only has an amazing platform, but is beautiful and has a very healthy lifestyle. And he comes out and says, look, I've been living with this for 14 years.
Right.
Or it's been 14 years before, he announced it. Right. But it makes you realize that it is something that can be managed and you can live with.
Right. So before, people had a misconception that HIV looked a certain way. Like if you looked a certain way,
well, if you were gay, you had it.
Right. Or if you looked a certain way, whether if you
Characteristics,
were showing certain, characteristics
of the ailment,
of the ailment, then people would immediately identify or say that, you must be HIV positive, etc. The beauty, and you just mentioned this, is the fact that he has a platform. And the fact that he chose to come out and say that he's positive really brings a positive perspective, pun intended, if that's what you think, on the situation, on the fact that, we're talking about normal, loving, amazing, beautiful human beings who just so happen to have something as common nowadays as diabetes or anything else that is treatable, and you can live a long, healthy life, and then on the flip side of that, if you happen to be someone who's negative and you want to have a meaningful relationship with someone who's positive, there's PrEP, right? In the past 5 years, we have made such advancements that you can take, PrEP and be 99.9% protected from contracting HIV. Should you, happen to sort of kind of, engage someone in a way that puts you at risk.
I think the plus side with PrEP, I know I have friends that have been in relationships. I have my friend that's been with her wife for years, and her wife has been positive since probably 90s, probably late 80s. Right. And of course, they have had an ongoing spousal relationship the entire time. I see PrEP as a plus there because now I think it would afford them some additional people. You have to be careful. It is what it is. It's an ailment, and you can't avoid it. But having PrEP as another option, I think it kind of eases the worry about, okay, we need to prep, go through all these steps before we're intimate.
Right.
So
I mean, you can still have your intimacy protected, right?
Yes.
That's still an option, and that's still typically the number one go-to for most people to avoid getting HIV or anything else, whether that's gonorrhea, syphilis, or any of the other STDs that exist out there. But the thing is, like Dr. G says, right? We've obviously had a lot of conversations with Dr. G about engaging and having the ability to make decisions for yourself regarding how you engage with people, whether you want to use protection or not. There's no shaming here, right? It's all about knowing what your options are and using those options to circumvent, the possibility of contracting HIV if you're engaging people or multiple partners in an unsafe way. But the options are there, and that's what really gives me hope for the future.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that HIV, AIDS, it's not a death sentence anymore.
Right.
Exactly.
And, I've read many different articles that say that we're at the precipice. Oh, my God, I'm using big words.
I'm proud of you.
We're at the precipice of finding something that could potentially eventually eradicate something like HIV for good. And it's all a matter of science. And, I really think the world of people like, for example, Dr. Fauci, that before COVID, he really dedicated a lot of his time and effort and his life work on HIV and AIDS, right? And studying the pandemic. And it's just amazing. So, to Billy Porter, thank you. Thank you for coming out yet again, even though you didn't need to, but you're using a platform that you have to really make an impact, a positive impact on the community, and letting them know that, this is what HIV looks like and there's nothing wrong with it. And it's beautiful. So bravo, Billy. I think he gets claps. And that's all I have to say about that. So.
Thank God.
She's
And yes,
nasty.
Pride will be virtual and live.
Yeah.
Virtual and live. Yeah. So now I have to contemplate
Hybrid.
whether or not I have to call out of the bar on a Sunday to go to Pride.
Ugh, no, I'm good.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
I just feel like
I guess Connecticut
we're
and
post-pandemic.
I am open for business, so.
We're post-pandemic. I think a lot of people will want to come out and celebrate
definitely.
and share. And I think the pandemic has put a huge spin on a lot of stuff that people would normally do. Stuff that I would probably not do in previous years, I might want to do again this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I know.
And you have to think
You're
about
nasty.
Convinced.
You have to
This
think
bitch
about
got her
too.
harness back, and she's like,
It's time to party.
Girl.
All of a sudden, that
Don't hate on the
song
leather.
"Dirty," what is it? "Dirty" from Christina Aguilera, the "Dirty" album.
oh yeah, that's
Wanna get
definitely.
Dirty. That's what I came to mind. No, but I think so. Here's the thing.
What do you think? What is the thing?
The thing is, New York is going to have to do it right, and I think that
What is the thing?
if anything, these fucking bitches. That's why I love them so much. I think New York is going to have to do it right. New York is going to have to, and if any city can do it, New York can. These two bitches having sidebar conversations over here. Obviously there's going to be some safeguards in place, and, things aren't going to be the same as they were in previous years. Obviously it would be the first physical Pride since COVID or post-COVID. But I think...
Well, it says as to be determined in-person elements. We don't really know what that means.
Right.
So
I mean, do you know what New York law is right now? Are there restrictions lifted?
Yes.
Yes.
They've been. I think they were lifted before we were.
Right.
Well before we were.
I mean, when you think about
I think it was
economically,
around the same time, but yeah.
New York was decimated economically, the city itself.
Oh, yeah, of
It's been
course. Yeah. Hit hard.
They need a lifeline at this point to bring the city back. And
I mean, I'm down to go.
Parades.
Of
The
course you
parades are going to be a big to do because it brings in close to 5
Over 7.5 million people between the Puerto Rican parade, the gay pride. There's another parade that happens in June as well. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, that's a lot of revenue coming in just on a weekend event, 2-3 days, and especially Puerto Rican Day Parade. They started with the festival on Fifth Ave on that Thursday.
El Festival.
That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days of just nonstop partying and revenue.
Yeah, it's. We'll keep an eye on it. We should have more information. I'm sure that they're going to post something, in the coming weeks regarding what type of activities or what Pride will look like as a live event. So we'll keep an eye out for it. So, all right. So let's turn it over to Christopher, because Christopher has a story, right?
I thought Trish was gonna take this,
but but Trish is gonna do the last one because it's a happy-go-lucky story.
Well, she's got two.
Oh, so all right. So we'll turn it over to Trish.
Oh my God, he's here for 2 weeks and he won't even do one story.
He's already directed.
No, I have one, but I'd rather dive into these and we could talk about mine another time. I don't even want to say the guy's name.
You said
All
the
right,
last thing. He said the same thing last week.
Okay, gird your loins. This is not fun. All right. So, a gay teenager wrote a heartbreaking letter begging his neighbors to save him from his allegedly homophobic dad.
I saw this.
Promoting them to call the police. So, Brazilian media outlet G1 Go reported the 14-year-old lives in the city of Jatai.
It's Portuguese, not Spanish.
Sorry, I don't. Whatever. The teen pleaded with his neighbors, and he wrote, "Have you ever felt you're not good for anyone?" The teenager added that he cannot take it anymore and that he is in the greatest despair of his life. After the neighbors had received this letter, they sent a recording of a violent incident to the police. The man was reportedly heard threatening to kill his son. The recording said something along this: "I'm tired of telling you. Didn't I already tell you to change? You have to change. Do you know why? Because if you don't, I will kill you. I will blow you up."
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh, I can tell. I can relate to the story personally.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is, right, so in Brazil in 2019, the Supreme Court of Brazil voted to criminalize LGBTQ plus discrimination,
right,
making homophobic and transphobic crimes legally equivalent to racism.
Right.
Right.
But they're not upholding those laws, and they're not doing anything.
In this case, from what we understand, the boy is now in a safe place with another family member. But the reality is, and we talk about it on the show all the time, that this is still happening.
Right.
And not only is it happening in Brazil, where 175 trans people were murdered last year,
right,
but it's happening all over our country and the world, where kids are killing themselves or made to feel as though they have nothing left to live for because they are not accepted for who they are.
Right. And, interesting that you mentioned that Brazil had criminalized, the persecution of homosexuality, etc. But they are, by capita, one of the largest countries in the world, and have the highest attacks on members of our community, especially transgender
which we have showcased a lot of times on the show, sadly. But
when we started in year one, I think we had read that over 500 transgender deaths occurred in 1 year in Brazil alone. And now you're saying it's how many?
Well, 2020 was the deadliest year for the trans community in Brazil.
It's insane. And so when you see those numbers,
125 trans murdered in Brazil.
When you see those numbers not go down and constantly be on the rise, right? Between the time we started the show and 2 years in or so, over 500 trans men and women were murdered, mostly women, in Brazil. there is no doubt that, homophobia is very rampant there. And even protections from the Supreme Court don't curtail things like that from happening. So to see that this young man had an opportunity to be removed from a situation that could potentially harm him is good news.
Well, also, like, to see that this young individual, 14 years old, had the strength and, the idea or smarts to at least reach out to somebody, out. I don't know if he knew if his neighbors would, step up and do what they needed to do to protect him, but they did.
He was probably terrified that maybe they would also be the same way, but it was his last choice.
Resort.
Like,
Yeah.
it really was the last resort. I have to put this out there or I might not survive.
Right. And I think that it's important to highlight the fact that, like, you should always find that venue to reach out. There are so many spaces where you can reach out. Maybe not in Brazil, but luckily this individual had great neighbors, but your life is worth something. Your homosexuality or being trans or being a lesbian or being bi doesn't change the fact that your life is worth something, because your life is worth every fucking moment you wake up, every fucking moment you live. Your life is worth something, and you have to find a way or find the right venue to reach out to.
Right. And lucky for him, like you said, he had great neighbors and they did what they were supposed to, and bravo to them.
Yeah, and I think, Brazil has these laws in place, but how do they enforce them?
Right.
Because if there's a surge, because I was reading here, I saw a 29% surge in violence in 2020
Against the
LGBT community. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there are laws in place, but it's like, okay, did they just put the laws in place to appease the people, or
right?
are
They can be
actually
on paper,
enforcing
but
it?
they have to be enforced. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, you also have to keep in mind that, unfortunately, lawmakers are just as biased as your neighbor or your dad in this case.
Right. Yeah, and you can pass a law, but until and you pass a law, whatever, great, huge win.
Laws don't benefit anyone until it affects an official in charge and in power. Unfortunately, I've always seen that happen.
You're 100% right, but also, you can pass a law, but until you actually provide training and education to the people that have to enforce it, it's not going to fucking matter.
Right.
When you pass a law like something like this, where homophobia and transphobia are now criminalized, okay, well, that's great to know, but teach me what that means. What does what is transgender? What is, the history of, homosexuality? How can I support these kids, or how can I support these people, instead of just saying, "Oh no, it's criminalized now, so I guess you have to be arrested,"
Right.
or like, I don't know who to call. Like, set up systems.
And it doesn't help that the president of Brazil is a Shit Gibbon-esque leader. So he's not going to be one who's pushing for equality. The high court might have passed it, but if their government is structured anything along the lines of the United States, the president, he's in charge of the executive branch, and he's not going to be the one who's going to enforce it.
Every time I see the president of Brazil's name on a piece of paper or something, I always equate to like Di Zerono. Because it's
well, at least
Zitu
Di
Amaretto.
Zerono's all right after dinner. This guy is not good for any meal. No.
but
No changes come until it hits home.
Yep.
I toot my hat to these neighbors that were amazing and did what they were supposed to do. You saved the life of a very young individual that could potentially have had a very, very horrible outcome. And, a message to you fathers out there. Because I've been this child.
But before you go there, I would implore anybody that does take a step up and call the police to not only take that step up, but follow up. Because, for example, this individual is still with the same family,
right?
And you don't know how his aunt or uncle may react. Follow up with that kid. Make sure he's okay.
Right.
Make sure they're okay.
Right.
It's not just, yes, that is an amazing gesture, what you did, but follow through. It's a life worth saving.
Right. Agreed.
I mean, and I'm just assuming here, but if the child, or I shouldn't say child, he was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was placed with other families because, the police were involved or social services,
Right.
that stuff should be in place. And I doubt, I highly and I hope that, social services, if they were involved, they did their homework before
Right.
placing this kid
Exactly. Agreed.
elsewhere. It's hard to say because you don't live in those countries and you don't know exactly how their social service system works. It's just as anything else. It could be a good position for him, and it could be just as bad as being back home. So yeah, I agree with you, but I'm also hoping that they know better.
And it's really up to social services,
Yes.
to look into that.
Yes.
Yeah, like the neighbor did the right thing. I understand what you're saying about homework, but it's not really like the neighbor's the one who needs to be checking up to make sure everything's okay. At this point, other people should be stepping in. They did their part and they reported the maltreatment.
Right, because what is the neighbor going to do? Get in the car and then just go sit outside the uncle's house or the aunt's house or the family member's house? And
My
see
ass
if-
would.
We know.
I mean, we
Goddamn
know.
fucking Louisville slugger.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
But let me just say, in the article too, it says that he was taken to an aunt's house and will undergo counseling. Well, what the fuck does that mean? What kind of counseling, and where are you getting your resources from? Because he should be going to the right counselor. Because he needs to heal from what he went through with his parents, but he also needs to learn how to accept himself. Because right now he probably hates himself.
Right, but you don't know that the counseling that he's going to be working with is bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I was like, we don't know that part.
Right. And
But that's why I'm saying, like, when laws like this happen, the systems need to be in place so that we know that he is getting the right counselor. We know that the family is actually maybe getting counseling. All of these things are happening the way they should happen.
right, like they should be able to have the support system to support the follow through.
I don't want to hear just counseling, because counseling can mean
A lot.
conversion therapy.
Conversion
right.
therapy. Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, what kind of counseling are you giving this kid?
Yeah.
And everyone involved needs to have some sort of accountability, including the parents and the father. It's, and what I wanted to say before is, like, to all you fathers out there who are constantly berating members of our community, especially your children, know that you are really changing the way that your children see themselves, and you're hurting them in ways that you could never imagine. And myself, having a father that did not accept me and had threatened my life on multiple occasions, I know what that feels like. And, two things could happen. You could either survive and come out of it stronger, or this could destroy you and ruin you and completely leave you alone, and to the point where you contemplate hurting yourself or others. And so you really need to think about what type of future you want your child to have. And in the end, they're human. You need to love your kids.
Right.
And you need to tell them that every day.
While I agree, I doubt any of those fathers are listening right now. So I don't know
True.
if that message fell on the right ears. But regardless.
My hope is this, that if someone ever were to ever listen to this recording, share it. Share it with someone who might have doubts about their kids who are members of the LGBT community. Those are our brothers and sisters, and we need to advocate for them, because clearly at home they don't have anyone advocating for them. We need to do that.
Yeah. No. Yep. I mean, I remember when I came out to certain people in my life, they were like, supportive, but they felt bad. And they would say things like, well, you're choosing a harder life.
Not a choice.
Well, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
I'm sure we all heard that around this table. You're coming out, being gay. It's going to be a harder life.
Right.
So don't make it even worse.
Right.
Support your kids. Find a way, to get over your biases and just support everybody for who they are. Because in a way, I'm not going to lie, there are aspects of being gay or being a part of the LGBTQ plus community that are harder. Right. But at the same time, I wouldn't change a goddamn thing about me.
Neither would I. But I have said this before. It's like, the gay life or being a member of the LGBT community is one of the most, amazing things for me because I'm a member of this community and I love being gay and I love being me, but it's not a life that I would wish on anyone if they had a choice.
Oh.
At all, because it's very hard. You know, you have to think about what you go through in your adolescence in school, the bullying, the constant, you know, being constantly attacked for just being you. And then, you know, it fucks you up. So you either survive or you don't. And if you do happen to survive, but you didn't make it through, truly, you're fucked up for the rest of your life. And people are doing that to us. People are doing it to the community on purpose in most cases because they're homophobic and they're being, you know, to me, I love who I am. I wouldn't change myself for anything, but I wouldn't wish my lifestyle on anyone because.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, I guess I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but at the same time, if I had the choice to, like, literally, if I could go back and, like, there was, like, a pill I could take or something that would make me straight, I wouldn't do it.
Never.
No.
Not in a million years.
I wouldn't
The
either.
beauty of our community and the beauty of the people that are in my life and everything that I've gone through has made me who I am and who I believe to be some days a good person
Right.
and a strong person. Like I would not ever change that.
Here's what
It's every day, Trish. It's every day.
Right.
You just have your moments.
Yeah, like just keep off bottles and knives away from me. It's fine.
Let me rephrase that. If you're gonna be gay, I support it 100%. I think there's nothing wrong with me, but the pain that members of our community have to go through growing up, I wouldn't wish on anybody.
It's tough. It's tough, and then you throw this twist on it, being bisexual,
Right.
and having to deal with it. Now, in my case, I had to come out to my wife in the beginning.
Right.
Someone I was married to for 20 plus years. So it's a struggle. I think sometimes you also have to think about how it will affect the family in general. And I think that's why a lot of people decide not to. I think a lot of the in the bisexual groups that I follow and that I kind of go to for some feedback, sometimes you got to realize that people take longer to come out because of those fears that you have. I was 35 when I finally said, "Hey, this is what I felt since I was a little kid." You know what I mean?
It's a valid emotion. It's part of you.
So it's even harder sometimes when you're in the bi spectrum, because people just see
Are
it
you
as.
getting teary?
I always tear up.
Oh my god, I
I
want
always
to hold you
tear
right
up.
now. You have free hugs on. Like
It's a difficult process. It is a difficult process. I think what's
Hold my hand,
harder.
girl. Hold my hand, girl. I'll hold your hand.
What's
to support.
harder is that you have to try and prove yourself to everybody. And it's never easy. It's never easy to come out because you feel shameful.
Right. And especially if you're bi and married,
Yes.
because
You guys seen it, and I get used to get it all the time. Oh, you're just being greedy, or you just don't know where you're at, or you're just, and I think that sometimes it creates even more turmoil within yourself as a person, because then you start questioning, am I gay? Am I straight? What the fuck's wrong with me? You know what I mean? It's like, how do I fit into this? Because I know I'm attracted to men. It's not a,
we all know.
it's not fictional. I'm attracted to women. I've always known that. So what the fuck is wrong with me? And I think that's a big, especially as a young kid, I think it fucks you up more trying to figure out where you're at, because you figure, I belong here. I need to do this. therapy doesn't always necessarily mean it's gonna direct you in the you know what I mean?
yeah.
I did my share of therapy. That's my fucking degree, which is even funnier because I would sit in these meetings with therapists and they're telling me, well, this is what's going on and this is what's different with you. And I was like, I agree with you, but I don't agree with you.
But you know what? There's something so powerful about everything you're sharing right now, and I'm honestly so proud to know you and call you a friend, because there are so many. I have a lot of bi people in my life that I know on a personal level are bisexual, but haven't figured out how to have that how to have that conversation. And the fact that you are married in a loving relationship with a beautiful family and had the strength, whether it was at whatever age, 35 or whenever, had the strength to come out and figure it out with your partner is the beauty that is the strength within you. I mean, like, it's amazing because a lot of people can't do that and don't feel comfortable to do that. And I wish more people could say, hey, I'm bi, or be in a healthy relationship, because when you are bi and you're in a relationship where you can't be out and open, you are literally tearing yourself apart.
That's true. That's true. But, you know, you also have to remember that, I mean, whether you're bi and married to a woman or bi or, you know, with a partner, you know, regardless of who you're with at the time, you're still bi. It doesn't change who you are. And people don't realize that sometimes. And they kind of put you in this bubble there, you know, oh, you and Chris are dating, so you're gay. No, it doesn't mean I'm gay. You know what I mean? You know, just because we're dating.
If you were dating Chris, you would be.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
If you were dating Chris, you would be. You would
and you'd probably be on antibiotics, but that's beside the point.
I resent that. How dare you?
But we love you.
But you know, the thing is that sometimes we're put in this bubble where it's like, you know, you feel like you always have to constantly explain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't necessarily put you in that specific bubble. There's no specific way to address it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
What?
that's my bit.
No, that was amazing.
The thing about, you know, also bisexuality too is that often people think that you are incapable of holding a significant emotional relationship with either genders, right?
Correct.
And obviously you've been with your wife for a very long time. You guys have a bond that's unbreakable, but that's still, there's still nothing wrong with the fact that you're bi. You are committed to your wife, and you have an emotional connection with her, your daughters, your grandchildren. You have a life for yourself, and the fact that you're bi doesn't change that.
Exactly.
Right? And people have a hard time differentiating the sexual part from the emotional part.
Yes.
And you know, and I was having this conversation with a group of people at work, because we do have now an LGBTQ plus, you know, business resource group that addresses concerns for members of our community at work. And we were saying, you know, the reason why I think that people can't separate the sexual from the emotional, especially when it comes to like same-sex marriages or bisexuality or being gay, is because in the very word that is used to describe who we are, bisexual, homosexual, everything is sexual.
Sexual, yes.
And you know, that really fucks with people's heads in trying to differentiate the fact that we're still human and capable of human emotion, regardless of what we want sexually.
I think people just read into the last portion of that word, sexual.
Seriously.
You just want to fuck everything and everyone that comes in your way, and that's not necessary. You know, sometimes you do.
Right. But that's not the point. You know? We love you, Chris.
Light her up like a sock.
She's a bomba sock.
I love you.
No, but Jay, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time I've ever seen you cry. Seriously.
I'm a hard ass always, you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cry all the time.
I feel
so.
privileged. I feel
Thank
privileged
you.
to have
No, it's sometimes it's, you know, I think I've been here long enough to
Cry?
bear a little bit of myself, and personally, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think we've all ugly cried except Chris. Chris, you want to cry now?
It's not
I
right.
know we all, I think, cried during Pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Oh,
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
We've all had our cries
I
on the
see.
show. Yeah.
I just have a lot more than anyone
and
else.
you pointing that finger, you're like, I still have that video. You were trying to read on your phone, and you're like, one eye closed, and you're like, a long time ago. Season 1.
He can't remember.
I don't remember that shit.
You were so drunk, you were trying to read from your phone. You had one eye closed, trying to focus.
yeah.
Oh, one eyeing it?
And
Yeah.
your phone was over here, and you were like,
Yeah, he's like, I know the one eye. It's fine.
Yeah, right. I'm doing it right now.
That was yesterday. That was yesterday.
so.
One eye drunk.
That's incredible. All right, well, Trish, tell us about your little happy story so that we can go on our happy way to,
Ending. Happy ending.
Yeah.
Give us our happy ending, Trish.
All
Make
right.
sure your
well,
hands are lubed.
I love the picture.
some penguins are gay. Get over it. Thank you. So some penguins are gay. Get over it. So 2 gay penguin couples are preparing for eggs at an aquarium this mating season. So 2 lesbian power couples. Obviously, they're power couples. Marmalade
Marmalade.
and Chickpea.
I love the names. Marmalade and
then
chickpea.
Marma and Rocky.
Marma and Rocky. Marmalade and chickpea.
It's like Marama.
I think it's Marama. I think you're right. Marama, yeah. Have been preparing their nests, collecting pebbles, and waiting in anticipation of this mating season. So an aquarium this year will not only have 1, but 2 same-sex lesbian couples for this year's mating season. They are hoping that they will be able to adopt an egg, or by that I mean...
Steal it.
No, we'll get there later. We will get to the Steelers later. No, the people at the zoo are hoping that they're going to be able to give both couples an egg for their nest, but you never know. Blah blah blah. La, 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 la. Oh my God! Hold on. You got me all confused now. So they may potentially adopt unwanted eggs from other penguins also this mating season. So we'll see what happens. The Sea Life London Aquarium will be home of the lesbian... I love how they call them power couples. The lesbian power couples, as well as our male-female penguin couples. This breeding season, we also have 2 female same-sex who will also be going through nesting rituals, blah, 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 which we've talked about. But I want to get to the end of the story because that's my favorite part.
I thought she would
All right,
never
so
get there.
as we know, same-sex couples are common in nature, and many serve as superstars in different zoos and aquariums around the world. Inca and Rayas, another pair of Gentoo penguins' parents, are currently living in Madrid at another zoo. There's also Thelma and Louise, 2 lesbian penguins raising a chick in New Zealand.
I love it.
Okay. And then we have Sven and Magic, as we
Right.
all know, successfully hatched an egg over 2 years ago and raised the chick.
You also have to say Thelma and Louise have been together for 10 years.
They mate for life.
That kind of makes sense.
Unlike us.
I mean, Thelma and Louise went
Like
off the
us.
cliff together, so.
well, elsewhere in Europe, Tom, this one's for you.
Uh-huh.
There is a pair of troublemaking gay penguins who are notorious for constantly stealing eggs from other penguin couples. The Dutch duo stole an egg in 2019. It didn't hatch. And unfortunately, in 2020, they decided to egg snatch from a lesbian couple whose egg was left unfertilized.
You don't do that. You do not.
For a contrast, Eduardo and Rio, the surrogate penguin dads at a San Francisco zoo, were earned the best penguin dad honors.
Oh, yay for them.
So even gay couples who aren't able to raise children have enjoyed their life together. So same-sex penguins, as we know, are for real a real thing.
There was one in Munich, too. You just left that out.
No, I left that out for a reason.
Yeah, I know.
I think
Did I skip over the Munich one?
I
Yeah.
think the penguin should be our official mascot.
Well, we have Dookie,
We do have
Yeah,
Dookie.
well,
but we do need some gay penguin stuff in here.
So,
Wait, how did I miss the one in Where's Munich?
Right.
It says right there. Same-sex penguin duo in Munich adopted a little rock as their companion when they didn't have an egg to take care of.
Oh. Well, speaking of San Francisco, May 22nd was Harvey Milk Day.
yes.
You know what's amazing too, though? One last thing about gay penguins. There is a zoo
She's
in
obsessed.
there is a zoo in Ireland that is home to 4 gay couples, which is more than the straight couples in the shelter.
Like,
Yay.
I'll tell you one thing. Gentoo penguins, they got it going on. I want to be a part of their gay parade. Like, can you imagine they go to like Antarctica?
Yeah, they waddle down that thing. They're like, that's my egg, that's my egg, that's my egg, that's my egg. Take my pebble, take my pebble, take my pebble. That's my egg.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
I just think it's so funny that the fucking the couple that keeps stealing fucking eggs, they literally stole one in 2020 from a lesbian couple, and the egg was unfertilized, obviously, because it was from a lesbian couple. So it's just like, come on, guys, get it together.
So couldn't they fertilize the egg?
No, that's not how it works.
no.
Do you know like anatomy?
Yeah,
Like,
you can't
basic anatomy.
Okay.
You don't just like shoot on it like an eggshell.
The
And like, yeah, it'll
sploosh needs to be in there,
right?
right?
So the female Gen 2 penguin has an egg.
Yes.
If it's not
It has to be
fertilized
fertilized.
during the process of before the egg is made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so-
not going to open your fridge, come on an egg, and a chicken's going to come out. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Oh my god.
If you did that, that would be disgusting. Because I mean, the egg would probably rot instantly.
Why are y'all being so mean to me?
It's like one of the alien movies.
like
where
adding
they
milk-
a lot
put
of
that acid
vegetables.
spit on it.
It's like adding milk to your scrambled eggs. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there you go. Now I feel like it's kind of gross, but like I made scrambled eggs today, and like I was like, I'll just put a little sour cream in there, not some splooge, but you know, to each their own. You do you.
You do you.
Cum, sour cream. I don't know. Tomato. Spray some Windex on it.
I'm just waiting for somebody to bring me my fucking pebble. Anyway.
I'll throw a rock at you.
Well, I have.
It's been 84
Many-
years.
It's been 84 years.
Many a Gen
Buckle
2,
up for another
many
84.
a Gen 2 would throw a pebble at me. It's just I always let it go. And
I know.
okay.
She throws the pebble back and knocks him out. That's what it is.
No, I throw the boulder back. I'm like, what'd you do? I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did.
Oh Lord, have mercy. All right, well, listen. This was an amazing dish. Thank you for sharing that story and the myriad of. Oh my God, I used another
word.
The myriad
Big words all
of
day.
different penguins that exist all over the world that are just gracing us with the fact that they're super LGBTQ plus. We love it. So we're going to jump into the rest of the show. Obviously, we've got Mama Kim's Minute and on this day in gay history. So I'm going to toss it over again to Trish. Here's your little music and go.
All right, everybody. So it's a Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, Namibia.
Namibia.
Thank you. On track to finally decriminalize gay sex. Freedom will ring, and other things will as well. Number 2, Iranians are wearing pride flags in public to protest the brutal beheading of a gay man. I was saying that very positive, and that's not a positive thing. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Right.
Number 3, we talked about this on the show, but Billy Porter is proof living with HIV doesn't define who you are.
That's right. This is what HIV looks like. Okay, Christopher.
It's actually perfect for this one too, except this is not Bayan. Hey, so on this day in gay history, for when today, May 24th, 1919.
My God, that was like pre-pandemic. No, actually, the pandemic occurred that year.
1918. 1918.
That's
it's
why it was called the
post-pandemic.
Roaring 20s,
Right,
if you didn't know that.
But
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
It was called the...
Actually, I think it was 1919. No, was it 1918? Anyway, continue. I
So-
want to hear this.
Yeah, I found this out this week. I thought it was so amazing because now we are in
The Roaring 20s?
the Roaring
The
20s.
Roaring 20s. Oh, shit.
So literally, the pandemic
fucking
happened, and it was
pandemic.
called the Roaring 20s because everything shut down, and then the economy boomed, and people were out and about and working again, and so it was the Roaring 20s, and everybody thought it was like all about the flappers and all of this stuff, but no, that was just like an expression of
Economic
wanting to be
boom
out,
and-
but it was the Roaring 20s because people were coming back from a pandemic, and the economy boomed.
And we're literally entering the Roaring 20s. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's fascinating.
Isn't
Trish?
that kind of cool?
Wow.
You know how they
it's a
always
shame
say
you're such a bitch
history
because that was a
has
great
way
lesson.
of repeating itself. right? History has a way of
it
repeating
surely
itself.
does.
100 years later.
Yep, right. It's been 84 years. A little more than that, but
And interestingly enough that you just said that, let me come back here. CNN just reported more than a year after the pandemic began, the U.S. is on the cusp of a full economic recovery. Reaching a milestone won't be easy, but they're on their way.
sorry, Trump will shit on it, but whatever. Anyway, so where in Berlin, anders als die anderen, or
Those aren't words.
I was waiting for someone to say it, otherwise known as different from the others, was screened for members of the press at the Apollo Theater in Berlin. The film is about a romantic relationship between two male musicians and was intended to educate viewers of the hardship faced by homosexuals under Germany's recently enacted anti-sodomy statute. The film was well received, but eventually was banned across Germany in 1920, the following year.
So, well, you know, and then, you know, 20 plus years after that, you know, we had
19 years after that.
we had that asshole that took over and started
13
persecuting.
years then, yeah. 13 years,
It's
yeah.
just
But-
Welcome.
But I
Numbers
mean,
are hard.
fascinating to see. Like, I really had to look at the date like 3 times. I'm like, 1919? Fascinating that at that time, film was screened. Not only was
Germany
film,
was so progressive.
right, especially Berlin,
why do you say Berlin?
Because that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
that's how
Berlin's in Connecticut.
Berlin, Connecticut,
Berlin, Connecticut,
like
Berlin,
he's like
Germany.
Yeah, it's like how you say Louisville.
Berlin,
Louisville.
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 You gotta say
Louisville.
like you have a cock in your mouth.
He
Louisville.
always says that.
Louisville.
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 It's kind of like molasses sort of spilling out your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, have mercy. All right, well, here we go, ladies and gents.
I need another.
Did you just say fuck this? All right, let's close out the show.
Agreed. I want some touch. Oh, I'm a little clammy. Sorry.
That's all right. We're used to clammy around here.
Yeah.
I would love some clams right now. Let's close out. Let's get some clams.
I'm just gonna say I'm not used to clammy, but
Hey,
you are.
She's moist. She's moist.
I like it moist.
All right.
All right, well, ladies and gents, if you
And
love
another Trish was born.
I can't. All right. Well, ladies and gents, if you love the show, make sure you go subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as our episodes are published. You can also support us on Patreon, which allows you, our supporters, to support the show with a monetary donation, which we collect monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more. Chris, what's happening next week?
We ain't doing nothing. We ain't gonna be here. Y'all gonna miss us. I think we're gonna be grilling.
We might be grilling.
Are we
yes.
gonna be grilling?
Yeah, we
We're
might
gonna be
grilling.
drinking.
Uh-huh.
I won't be here.
Well, I have to work Sunday, but, you know, yeah.
Well, yeah, but next Monday is Memorial Day,
No, I
isn't it?
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be back, right?
No, I won't be here.
No. So the reason why we're not doing a show is because obviously it's Memorial Day, which I always confuse with Labor Day. But Trish's brother is getting married, and you know he is one of the best men at the wedding, and obviously his whole family is going to be here. So instead of being here in the studio with
I'm
us
gonna be
recording a
hopped
show,
up on Xanax in
he's going
the
to be
northern part of the state.
He's going to be with his entire family. They're actually all going to be together for the first time in a long time. And I think that's more important than sitting here behind a studio and recording a show. So,
If you need backup, call us. We'll show up.
right, that's right.
Girl.
Have your phones at the ready.
Get the getaway car. So that's why we're not going to be here next week. And so we decided, you know, another break doesn't hurt anyone. We're not going anywhere. We'll come back the week after. And that's that. So,
Is it time to put a rubber on it?
it's me again.
We are not there yet, Jay.
Lord have mercy.
We're raw dogging it still for a little bit longer.
A little bit. All right.
Come on, I pressed the wrong button.
Girl.
She pressed them both.
I know, that's right. Mine like overdid it, which was better.
So that being said, and now here's Nick with a weekly reminder for all of you bottoms out there who want to keep your buttholes on point. Yes, we're talking about the future method.
Thank you, Tom. Get the future method today. Each time you clean out with water or enemas, delicate tissues are harmed and cells are damaged, increasing chances of injury and or STDs. The first of its kind doctor-developed formula gently cleanses before you play without hurting your bum. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum cleanser today.
Right. And they also have that soothing cream. It is to die for. So make sure you go check it out. And that being said, one of you two need to...
Well, I mean, I haven't even got my boots off yet, but Jay's anxious to get going. So let's put a rubber on it. All right, people. As always, our show is available on our website, GayTalk20 or GayTalk20.com under audio podcasts. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and Stitcher Radio.
She's new here.
Nick announces you can find
I'll
us
be
on
back in a
social
month.
media. Facebook, GayTalk 2.0. Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. Twitter at GayTalk 20. You can email us at GayTalk 2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, give it a try.
All right. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab located at the top of your web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast or an individual host, and much more. You can also call us and leave us a question via voice message. We can answer those for you on the show. The phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget that we do stream live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except next week. And you can access that live stream by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. With that, I would like to thank you all for joining us tonight. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.